The first step to solving this problem is drawing out the free body diagrams. I'll go ahead and label my free body diagram for ring A as my number 1 free body diagram. Starting with the ring in the middle, you can draw the projections out for the tensions. This will be tension of C. This will be tension of B. And this will be tension of D, and I'll go ahead and add the labels as well. I'll add the angles as well. I'll draw the diagram for ring D as well with the crate. This will be the tension of D. This will be the weight, which is equal to mass times gravity of the crate, which was given to us at 550 pounds. And since we do have that weight already, we can go ahead and note the similarities between TD and W, in that W is equal to TD. W is equal to 550 pounds. So that means that TD is equal to 550 pounds. Now we can move on to breaking up the components. Starting with TB, we can do TBX is equal to TB times cosine of 30. And then TBY is equal to TB sine of 30. And then for TCX, it's equal to TC times 4 over 5. And then for TCY, marking that free body diagram number 2. And then for TCY, it's equal to TC times 3 over 5. Now that we have those components, we can start summing the governing equations to try and solve for the component's force. So starting with the sum of the forces in the x direction, make that equal to 0. And that's going to be equal to negative TB cosine 30 plus TC times 4 over 5. Let's set that equal to 0. And that gives us TB is equal to TC times 4 over 5 divided by cosine of 30. And that gives us TB is equal to TC times 0.9238. So moving on to the sum of the forces in the y direction, we have the sum of the forces in the y is equal to 0. and that gives us TB sine of 30 plus TC multiplied by 3/5 minus TD is equal to 0. And since we already know TD and we just found out what TB is in relation to TC, we can solve for TC with this equation. So plugging in TC times 0.9238 for TB multiplied by the sine of 30 plus TC times 3/5, and that'll be equal to 550, which is what TD was. 550 pounds. And then if we factor out the TC, you get TC times 0.9238 multiplied by the sine of 30 plus 3/5 equals 550 pounds. And then if we simplify inside the parentheses, we get TC times 1.0619 is equal to 550 pounds, which gives us TC equal to 517.9395, which rounded to 3 sig figs will be TC is equal to 518 pounds. I put newtons there by accident. I'll change that to pounds. Now that we have that, we can go back and solve for TB from the sum of the forces in the x direction equation. So we get that TB is equal to 517.9395 multiplied by 0.9238, which gives us TB is equal to 478.473. Which to 3 significant figures is 479 pounds. And those are our two components. The third component would be that 550 pounds at TD.